guys that had true charisma.
And there it is.
He was sort of a blonde version of Arnold Palmer. He was very aggressive and gambling and went for the pins, hit it hard off the tee, fun to watch, and that sort of sums up Greg Norman. He would try shots and do things other guys weren't willing to do or didn't have the insides to do.
Greg was really the start of the boom in golf in Australia. He really got people thinking that, hey, this is exciting, this is fun, you know, there's athletes playing this game. He was always the guy that people were trying to emulate.
Greg has always been such a great competitor.
That's the winning stroke, I would guess.
Teenagers and kids pretty much idolised him so much for such a long time because he was the man.
He was Tiger Woods, if you want to call it that, for the PGA Tour for a very, very long time. I mean, he got the TV and the crowds going, and I mean, he's still a huge crowd puller to any event he goes to, and that says a lot about a player.
He has a great magnetism about him, the way he carries himself, and people are attracted to him, and they're attracted to the fact that he's willing to take a stand and say what he believes, and he's an honest guy, and he goes for the gusto, so to speak. All in all, you have to respect his game. He was the best of his time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a good mate of mine and the last inductee of the 2001 Hall of Fame, Greg Norman.
Thank you, everybody. Donna, with your old hairstyle and those glasses, and my outfit I was wearing back in those days, I think we should thank God the new millennium has come around in the game of golf. Boy, did we wear some wild outfits, I must admit. But truly, it's a great honor to be up here tonight and to sit down here and be amongst all the former inductees and to be with the other 5 inductees here this evening. The game of golf is a very simple game. We all love to play it. It's a game that fascinates us, intrigues us, frustrates us, and gives us a lot of happiness at the same time. But to get there is a long road. And my road was really started off late in my career at the age of 15 years old, where I used to skip school a few times. I know my son's sitting down here in front of me, and I don't want to say that too much, but I used to skip school, used to take my mom's old Hillman car, and run down to the local Virginia golf club to try and hit balls as much as I could between sunrise and sunset. And for that, I had to thank my parents tremendously. Nobody in my family has ever been a professional athlete. Nobody in my family has ever even looked like being a great golfer. And with my determination and desire to become a golfer, my parents were a little bit perplexed and bewildered. But they saw the passion in my eyes about what I wanted to have out of this life and how much I love the game of golf. So they allowed me to go off and do my thing late in the afternoon, and my mother and I had a wonderful calling card. If she needed the car to go pick up the groceries for the meal that night, I'd pick up the phone and let it ring 3 times and hang up, and then she used to come and pick me up, and most of that time it was probably this dark and night. So to my parents and to my sister, who has since taken up the game and become a very, very good golfer in her own right, I need to thank them tremendously. They gave me the opportunity to go on, but to go on from there, I had to try to find out the finer points of the game. And no better person that I had to find that from was Jack Nicklaus. And again, I used to sit there when I used to do my chemistry homework and my physics homework, the book would be laid out in front of there, but unbeknownst to my dad, Jack Nicklaus's Golf My Way was right there on top. And every time I heard him come down the hallway, I'd slip it underneath my physics or chemistry book and pretend I was doing my homework. You know, shame on me, or I finally got Dad one up. But it worked, and I learned a lot from Jack Nicklaus. I learned a lot more than just the game itself. I learned what he exemplified and what representation of the game is all about. He taught me how to win, and he taught me how to lose. The game of golf can give you a lot, but the game of golf can take a lot away from you. And humility and being a great loser is probably the hardest thing to do in life. And I learned that from Jack Nicklaus. He's also a great winner. We have a gentleman on the scene right now who could eclipse Jack Nicklaus and his record, but that'll be an interesting match to follow, to say the least. But to Jack, I want to thank him for his commitment to the game, his commitment to his family, because I also learned a lot about the way he dedicated himself to his family, the amount of time he spent away, how he always tried to get home on a Sunday night, on a Tuesday. So I'd like to thank him for. Then as I grew up, getting out of the amateur game, which wasn't a very bright career, I must say, I moved into the professional game, and there's three gentlemen I really need to thank. That's John Klatt, who was the professional of Virginia Golf Club in Brisbane. He was a guy who I first really started the game through clinics as a junior member of that golf club. And I remember one time we were going on a bus trip down to Grafton, and there was Clatty and there was a bunch of other fellow members from the golf club, and we're sitting down the back playing cards and having a few beers. And I said to the boys, I said, well, what do you really want to do? I said, well, I'm going to be a professional golfer, I'm going to marry an American, and I'll be a millionaire before I'm 30. And they looked at me like I'd been drinking way too much beer on the way down to Grafton. So I remember when I married an American and I became a millionaire before I was 30, I actually wrote off to these guys, called them up, and let them know that your dreams are the blueprint of reality. And then from there, John Klatt, I had to move on down to Sydney, and sitting to my right down here is the PGA of America. Now, I can totally understand and support that organization and that institution, because for me to become a professional golfer, I had to be an assistant. And I had to be an assistant for 3 years. And the only way I could qualify to actually go out there and do what I wanted to do, play tournament golf, I had to do a 3-year course. I tried to circumvent that. I tried to do it in 2 years. And through the help of Billy McWilliam at Beverly Park Golf Club, who had a night driving range, and I had to go out and hand pick up all these damn yellow golf balls of a night time, Billy gave me the opportunity to circumvent that. And then last but not least, I got to go to Charlie Earp. Charlie is a guy who really taught me about the game. He taught me just to hit it as hard as you possibly can hit it, go find it, and then we'll figure out how to hit it straight in a couple of weeks. Great, great piece of advice from a coach. But he also taught me about the facts of life. He taught me about the commitment, about being what a club pro was all about the membership, about the male members, the female members. He taught me about understanding the manufacturing of the game, how to build equipment, how to assemble equipment, how to sell product, how to do inventory. And believe it or not, as we sit here today, I use a lot of what Charlie taught me in the early days as being an assistant pro to what I use in business now. Those three guys are really, truly the three guys that set me on my way to where I am here today. But leading into that, and as my career evolved, a lot of other things came into play. More than anything else, I think, came into play in my life was the public and my friends. Without the public and the public support in the game of golf we have today, we wouldn't be here. All the inductees, all the future inductees, couldn't possibly be here. The public has been tremendous supporters of our game of golf on a global basis. The game has no geo-boundaries. The game of golf is truly global. And I'm sure as we sit here tonight, there are some people from overseas as well respecting that. So the public, I thank you. I thank you for your contribution to the game of golf, whether it's amateur, whether it's professional. And I thank you for the support you've given me. And especially, I got to make a comment about a fellow inductee sitting here and the outcrying and the support that I got and the change of philosophy that I had towards people in the public, because sometimes as you put up on a pedestal, it's not the right place to be, and sometimes you don't see things for not looking hard enough. And I'll never forget at the end of 1996 US Masters with Nick Faldo, and Nick is here tonight. He was a great champion that day, but it was he won. I inflicted a lot of punishment on myself, but the outcrying of public support from that moment changed my approach to people in life. And I want to thank them for that especially. I want to thank my friends, who are many of them here tonight, many of my friends who work with me in business, many of my friends who are just pure friends. They're here tonight. I especially would like to thank Tony Navarro, my caddy for a long time. Tony and I have won a few things, we've lost a few things, but a true friend to say the least. So I recognize Tony for his efforts and his support he's given me. To all the other guys sitting down there who have supported me along the line too, I want to thank them as well. And last but not least, sitting right down here in front of me is my wife and my son, and unfortunately my daughter couldn't make it tonight because she's supposed to be up in college studying. I doubt it very much, but she's supposed to be up there. But to Morgan and to Gregory, all the values that I've learned from the game of golf, I try to instill into them. I try to make them understand to speak the truth, understand integrity, have a lot of honor, have a lot of moral, have a lot of ethics, and no matter what you do in life. The game of golf has taught us that. And one thing I want to say about Gregory, I remember a couple of years ago that I was going down to chip and putt on the back of the green, and I said, Gregory, why don't you come down and chip and putt with me? He said, Dad, no, I won't come down there and chip and putt. I said, but I'll come down there and watch you. I said, why don't you want to chip and putt? He said, Dad, he said, I don't want to be a professional golfer. He said, I see how much time and sacrifice and effort you put into it and how much time it takes you away from the family. And boy, that was a powerful moment as well, because when you hear that from your own family, that you know what the game of golf does. So he respected that, he understood it. To my wife Laura for her unconditional devotion to the family while I was away, practicing, working, traveling the world, doing what I had to do because I love to do it. She's been a tremendous supporter of myself, our family. She's been a great wife and a great mother. Thank you. And finally, to my fellow inductees tonight, each and every one of them, except Alan, I must admit I'm a little bit too young for Alan, but each and every one of them I have a memory of, and especially Payne Stewart. I think the things that people don't see or know about Payne Stewart are the things that happened behind the scenes. We all knew he was a great swinger of the golf club. We all knew he had great charisma, great color, great attitude, great ethics, and great morals. But the things that we didn't see, or the general public didn't see behind the scenes, was what a great guy he really was. How much time we had together drinking a cold beer, going to exhibition matches, sitting in the locker room. And Paul said it perfectly. The guy is extremely patriotic, and he's not into his country, but to the sport that he played. And I'll never forget Payne for that. And my memory goes back with Payne way before he was even a PGA Tour golf professional over here in the United States. To Judy Bell, Judy, as far as I'm concerned, you set up those US Opens way too tough for me, so I congratulate you on your wonderful career and for your induction as well. To Donna, of all the commentators that I have been involved with on the tour, and the one that I feel most comfortable with coming up and saying something to me or talking or asking me a question to me during a round is Donna. She understands the game of golf better than most other people out there. She understands timing. She understands what is needed to take place. And to you, Donna, congratulations to you tonight. To Carsten, I've got a lot of your gold putters sitting in my golf room because of the quality of effort you did in manufacturing your equipment. The putters that were sent to me for every victory you had if you used a ping putter. So to John, to you and the Solheim family, congratulations to you guys. Your father is a credit to the game. And I always admire somebody who stands up and kind of likes to fight the establishment in some way, shape, or form for what he believes in. And I admire him for that, and I would like to congratulate him for that as well. But to Alan, all I can say about Alan is that I bet you the USGA would love to have that gutter ball back right now, because some of these golf courses and some of these young players nowadays are just hitting it way too far. But as I close, I would like to say it's been a great honor. And I think since 9/11, we've all had to step up to the plate a little bit more. This is a great country. It is a great world. It is a very resilient country, this country. And this country's led from the top down. I think the President of the United States is doing a phenomenal job with what he's doing right now. And And I see that in the rest of the, not only in the corporate world, but in the public world. And we've all got to bind together, get together, tighten our belt straps a little bit, and push on. America is a resilient country just like Australia is. I'm very proud of the association Australia's had with the United States over all these years. And in closing, I'm going to continue doing my part towards the game of golf. I'll continue doing all the things behind the scenes. I'll continue playing. I'll continue promoting and supporting it. And in about 1 hour and 20 minutes from now, I'll be getting on an aeroplane heading down to Australia to compete in the Australian PGA Championship. Thank you. Have a great night, everybody, and it's been a great honor. Thank you.